Hello class, welcome back to our online discussion. So we will continue on the section 1, Introduction to Strategic Management. So we need to um, discuss about the second learning objectives, identifying the school of thoughts on strategic management. So in the previous module, we discussed about the half of the school of thoughts. There are 12 school of thoughts, and we already discussed about the first half, the sixth school of thoughts. So we are now in module 2b, and we will discuss the rest of the school of thoughts. So we already discussed the design, planning, positioning, entrepreneurial, cognitive, and learning. So for this specific online discussion, we will continue discussing about the power, cultural, environmental, and configuration. So we already discussed about the design, planning, positioning, entrepreneurial, cognitive, and learning. So now we will discuss about the power. So the seventh school of thoughts, the views of this strategy formation is from the power perspective. Power perspective. Okay, and with this have the negotiation at the crux of the process. So the power and politics drive this school of thoughts with organizations vying for position in market and also the transaction. So we have macro and micro power perspectives. So these two will draw attention to the transaction level power and market level power. And then the strategy formation is more emergent as firms engage in power plays. And also not just plays but also ploys and tactics to maneuver in various contexts. So there's a need to have a power. There are two perspectives, the macro and micro power perspective. And now we will proceed to cultural. So the eighth school of thoughts, this is the number 8 school of thoughts, is the cultural school. Okay, so where again the emphasis is on the organization as a collective whole and strategy formation as comprising social interaction. So the strategy is deliberate in that the members are engaged in the process that involves collective action. So all the decisions must not be coming from a single person. So it must be they need to collect the information coming from different culture, different backgrounds. Okay, so that is one of the school of thoughts, the cultural. Okay, again, the strategy is to deliberate in that the members are engaged in the process that involves collective action. So all the planning, all the decision is not coming only from the manager or the owner, but the manager or the owner must collect information coming from the members of the organization or the employees. So the resources and capabilities are the source of the competitive advantage. And as firms are able to create a culture that brings forth unique decision making with a resistance toward organizational change. So this is one of the strategy of the business today. Before, when the manager or the owner of the business will have a decision, everything is coming from his or her mind alone. But today, in our generation, in the 21st century, they found out that the best strategy of a certain leader in the business, they must collect all the opinions, all the suggestions, all the ideas from the members to the employees before they will have to decide what is the next plan to do. So they will collect all the informations, they will gather it before they will make a final decision. Not like before that the manager or the leader will immediately decide without asking the idea of the employees. Number 9, environment. This is also important. So this is the 9th school of thoughts. It pertains to the environment while describing strategy formation as reactive. So the firm's external environment influences the strategy formulation, and implementation processes. And the firms are viewed as being part of an environment that is simple or complex, or stable or dynamic. Okay, so when we say stable, it is fixed, it is firm, and when we say dynamic, there is something changes on the particular decision or the process. So decision makers, the role of the leader of the business is one of the boundary spanner in being able to scan the environment while identifying the macro and micro level forces that impact the firm's position within the given business domain. I think it is already discussed to you from your previous subject or courses about the environment, business environment. There are external environment and there are internal environment. Once we said the environment, it means that this is a group of individual or organization that can affect and can be affected by the business. Okay, for example, one of the example of external environment is the government. Okay, the government can affect the business, for example, by tax, and also the business can affect the government. The more the business have the income, they have more revenue, means that they can also help more the government uh, in terms of tax. So what's the use of tax? It will helps the government to construct roads, bridges, and etc. So the population ecology perspective describes the firms and belonging to a given cluster in a terms of their characteristics. So what is that? The resources and the capabilities and how they are able to adapt within the given environmental context. And number 10, last. I thought there are 12, but there are only 10 school of thoughts. So last, the configuration. The 10th or the last school of thoughts is the configurations school, which view the strategy as transformational. Okay, transformational. It means that the business or the business leader must not focus only on the current situation, but they have a back of their minds what is the things that must be changed for more development and enhancement. So there is a thoughts for the transformational. So this is the other term for configurations. Once we hear the word configuration, something that you need to change, you need to configure. Okay. Another term is transformational, transform. So the configuration refers to the structure that a firm adopts in a given environmental context. So the business will adapt something coming from the pressure or the effect of the environmental context. And the transformation refers to a change in configuration based on a change in context. So there must be constant changes of every organization. So every organization must not stay on what level they have, but they must think something that needs to be improved or enhanced. That is why it is important as a business to have a customer's feedback. So the guest or the customer will write some comments, suggestions in the customer's feedback, and then the managers will collect all the suggestions, all the feedback, and that will be the baseline for their configuration, transformation, or development of their business, for example, in the processes. Okay, so there is a life cycle of the organization, and it is essential as pattern that emerge from various configurations and transformations that occur over the various periods of change that organizations go through. So there must have a several changes in the business. So the essence of the strategy formation is to ensure that the firms are able to recognize the need to change their configuration while transforming from one state to other during their productive life. So that is why this is very important to understand this 10 school of thoughts. So once you will become a manager in the future or the owner of the business, you must know this very important thing. And now we will proceed to the structure. We have phrases here. Structure follows strategy. Okay, the structure follows the strategy. So the strategy first and follows by the structure, and the strategy follows structure. Okay, as you can observe, they have been exchanged. These are the two views of the strategy um, formation process that are related to this school. In fact, this school is actually a compendium of all other school puts together. So there's also transformational leadership. It is also important. It is affirms that the essence of the strategy and the bottom-up change and the top-bottom transformation. When we say bottom-up change, when we say bottom-up change, bottom-up change from bottom to top. Okay, and there are also top to bottom transform. Just what I have discussed to you. For example, bottom up, there's something that they knew from the bottom, from the employees, and they will make some changes. When we say top to bottom transformation, the top management, for example, decides something and they will implement it until to the bottom part of the employees. Okay, until to the last part of the employees. So the bottom-up change and top-bottom transformations are part of the process. And one of the famous writer, Mansberg, and his colleagues state that resulting strategies take the form of plan or patterns. Not just the patterns, but also positions or perspectives. Not just perspective, but also ploys. Okay, but again, each of for its own time and match to its own situation. So there is a difference in deciding bottom-up change or top-bottom transform. It depends on the situation of the business. Okay, so this is one that I have mentioned. According to Mansberg, resulting strategies take the form of plan for patterns, positions, perspectives, or else ploys. But again, each for its own time and match to its own situation. So every problem, there is a solution and it is specific for that particular situation. Just like the medicine, if you have cough, there's a particular or specific medicine for that cough. Okay, so every situation there must have a specific and accurate solution. So the bottom up change, it is good, and top bottom transform, it is also good. It depends on the situation of the business. So we are done for in module 2b, and next we will discuss about the module 3 or lesson 3, and we will discuss about the overall aims of strategic management, creating a competitive advantage. So as you can observe, you are being trained or being informed, or you learn something about the the duties and responsibilities of a manager. What are the keys to become more effective in the leadership, especially in business industry. So next module we will discuss about the aims of the strategic management. What is the aims of the strategic management? It will create a competitive advantage to what? Towards your competitors. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to answer the evaluation quiz. Bye bye.